Before we get into this video, 68% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a like on this video. Subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a like. And in today's video, we're going to give my I'm going to give my way too early 2021 MLB playoff predictions. Now, it's far away from the 2021 season, and obviously some of the big free agents have not signed just yet this offseason. So these are way too early predictions. We have had some big trades. So yeah, I did my way too early 2021 MLB season predictions video. Link in the description of that video. You might want to go watch that video before you watch this one. Now, I did make these predictions before the Mets traded for Francisco Lindor, but in my predictions, the Mets did make the playoffs, and then I will do my award predictions at closer to the end of this video. These predictions are subject to change with more trades and free agent signings. So if your team is not where you think they should be, of where you're projecting them to be after this offseason, then that's because they haven't made any free agent signings or traded for anybody just yet. Now, for this video, I'm going to do the normal playoffs, not the expanded playoffs. We obviously saw the expanded playoffs in 2020, but I'm going to do the normal playoffs because that looks like it's what it's going to be for 2021. So, AL wildcard game is the Tampa Bay Rays versus the New York Yankees, an in-division matchup here. Now, we saw this matchup last year, and we saw the Rays dominate the series. The Yankees, as of right now, their team looks like a team without DJ LeMahieu, a team without much starting pitching. They obviously have Garrett Cole, who will win you a game, I think, probably in this series. But Rays versus Yankees here. The Rays have such a good team, such a good young team built of young players. Now, we saw Randy Arozarena, how well he did in the 2020 playoffs, and if he is as good as he was in the 2020 playoffs, that will help the Rays a lot in this series. But in this series, this is a very interesting one. The Yankees always, some of their best players like Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge, seem to get hit by the injury bug, and the Rays, they are a team that I think Luis Patino is bound to break out. I think Francisco Mejia is bound to break out. Two players that they got back in the Blake Snell trade. Now, yes, they did trade Blake Snell, which you could say is a big, significant downgrade for them. I don't think it's too much of a downgrade. Luis Patino has Cy Young stuff, Cy Young potential, and Francisco Mejia is very good as well. And not to mention the fact that Wander Franco could come up this year, Fidel Brujan, Xavier Edwards, some of their top prospects could come up, even Shane Baz, Brett Honeywell, could come up, and they still have a very good starting rotation, very good relief pitching. The Yankees, as good as their lineup is, will struggle to score in this series. I think they will struggle to score in this series, and if it is a Rays-Yankees series, I see the Rays winning this series. Now, our AL teams. There are four teams, obviously. Number one seed is the Toronto Blue Jays. I do see them making some big moves this offseason. As of right now, they are not my number one team. But I think they can make some moves this offseason that will make them quite a bit better. Number two is the Chicago White Sox. Number three is the LA Angels. And number four is the Tampa Bay Rays. Number one Blue Jays versus number four Rays. Once again, an in-division matchup. Once again, another matchup that we saw last season in the expanded playoffs. Now, the Rays totally dominated this series, and the Rays have not got significantly worse at all. The Rays are in a tough division, and that really sucks for them because they are in a tough division. The Blue Jays and Rays here could be swapped easily, and I wouldn't argue with that at all. I think the Rays definitely can win the division. I just have to see what Luis Patino, Francisco Mejia, players like that are going to do. I definitely think they can be in first place. It's just I've got to see what these players are going to do because neither have proved much in the MLB yet. But Blue Jays versus Rays here. Blue Jays, I expect them to sign George Springer. I do think that's happening. I do think the Mets will get Chris Bryant, and the Blue Jays will get George Springer. Now, the Rays, I do think they will be a very, very good team, like I said. And I think they win this series. I really do think they win this series. They're a team that could be one of those wild card teams that makes it to the World Series. You'll just have to see. So, the number two White Sox versus the number three Angels. I do see the Angels signing Trevor Bauer, so that's kind of my vision for why they win the AL West, even though the Astros definitely could win it. But I think the Angels do. Versus the number 2 White Sox, who I do see signing Liam Hendricks this offseason. I think that it is very possible that the White Sox surprise everyone this upcoming season. Luis Robert is going to be good. Nick Madrigal is going to be good. Andrew Vaughn could come up. They've still got AL MVP Jose Abreu. They signed Adam Eaton, which was one of their biggest holes at right field in 2020. They have a pretty decent starting rotation, you could say, with Lucas Giolito, Brianna Lopez, Lance Lynn, and more. And yeah, this team is very, very good. The White Sox are. And I think the White Sox do beat the Angels in this series, but watch out for the Angels in upcoming years to be even better. I don't think their relief pitching gets it done. I just think that's their main problem, and that's what holds them back in this series. Now, for the AL Championship Series, the number 4 Rays versus the number 2 White Sox. This is a very interesting series that is going to be a very, very good series, and I would be very excited to watch all of these series so far if I am a baseball fan. Number 4 Rays versus number 2 White Sox. In this series, this is two teams that have a lot of young players, and the White Sox don't have much experience. Neither do the Rays, though. Neither have much experience, but the Rays do have more experience, and I really do think that's what makes the difference here. And the Rays win and go to the World Series. I see them being that wild card team, the underdog that does make it to the World Series. I think they do beat the White Sox. The White Sox have a lot of new pieces on their team, and I think that could really hold them back a little bit because you get these stacked teams, and they always manage to they don't manage to get to the finals, World Series, whatever, the first year. They don't. And I think that that's going to be another thing with the White Sox here. I think I just see a kind of, I just don't see it. I don't see them beating the Rays. In a wild card game, this one is going to be a great, great wild card game. The Mets versus the Dodgers. This one is so interesting here because the Dodgers and Mets are both very, very good teams that could win. Both could win the NL Central, if we're being honest, because the NL Central looks to be kind of like the NFC East in football. But Mets versus Dodgers here. This is a very, very good matchup. You get Francisco Lindor, maybe even Chris Bryant versus Cody Bellinger and Mookie Betts. I mean, you have got some very good matchups. And the pitching matchups are going to be great here. Jacob deGrom versus Walker Buehler, Noah Syndergaard versus Clayton Kershaw. This one is a very, very interesting matchup. And this is just such a great wild card matchup. In this game, I do see the Dodgers winning. I could see the Mets winning. You've got to take into account how bad the Dodgers can be in the playoffs. But, I mean, I just think that the Dodgers will win this one. It's going to be a close one. The Mets could win the NL Central. The Dodgers could win the NL Central if they were in it, like I said. So, Dodgers win. NL Division Series. We've got the number 4 seed Dodgers, the number 3 seed Cardinals, the number 2 seed Braves, and the number 1 seed Padres. So, we have the number 1 Padres facing the number 4 Dodgers, the number 2 Braves facing the number 3 Cardinals. Now, the number 1 Padres versus the number 4 Dodgers is such a good matchup. This is a matchup that every baseball fan should be tuned into when they do play the season. Now, number 1 Padres versus the number 4 Dodgers. The starting pitching rotation advantage here, I think, does go to the Padres. The Padres have made a ton of moves this offseason. Yu Darvish, Blake Snell. They have just so many pitchers that can pitch and be very successful for this team. The relief pitching, I think, does go to the Dodgers. The hitting, I think, is back and forth. I mean, I think that the hitting may go to the Dodgers here. I mean, that's one's a close one, too. Number 1 Padres, I think, do win this series. I think that they just have the perfect mix of young players along with veterans. I just think they have the perfect mix, and I think they move on. And the number 2 Braves versus the number 3 Cardinals. The Cardinals, I really think, do make the playoffs this year due to them being in a weaker division. I see the Cubs really blowing it up this offseason. I see the Brewers not being nearly as good as they could be. I see the Pirates being bad. I see the Reds being bad. I think the Brewers still will finish in second place, even though they could be very bad. So number 2 Braves move on here. I don't think this is too much of a question. I don't think it's going to matter in this series whether they re-sign Marcell Ozuna or not. I think they will re-sign Marcell Ozuna or Adam Duvall, one or the other. I think the Braves will win here. So World Series matchup. We've got the number 4 Rays versus the winner of the Padres versus Braves. So Padres versus Braves. This is another really good matchup. Now the starting pitching advantage does go to the Padres, unfortunately. Relief pitching goes to the Braves, I think, because the Braves do have a very, very good relief pitching. And the Braves, I think, do have the advantage in hitting. And I do think the Braves move on in this series. I really do. I think that the Padres kind of will. I went with it with the White Sox saying that they've got a lot of new pieces. And I think that could be the same thing with the Padres. That's where I'm going with here. I think that the Padres have had too many new pieces and they may just fall. We've seen this happen too many times. I've seen it happen too many times, and I think that it will happen again. Number 4 Rays versus the number 2 Braves. That's my World Series matchup here. In this matchup, this is a very good matchup. This is exactly what I predicted last year, and I mean I got 50% of it right. And if we're being honest, the Braves should have been to the World Series, if we're being honest. They choked the 3-1. Yeah. In this series, I see the Braves winning in 7 games. So, for my early pick for the 2021 MLB playoffs is the Atlanta Braves. I think that the Braves do have a very good team, and I do see them signing Marcell Ozuna and another year more of Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, and yeah, I think it's set up perfectly for success. We have another year of Ronald Acuna, another year of Ozzie Albies, another year of Freddie Freeman. I think it's set up perfectly for success, and the Braves win the World Series in 7 games. So that's my early prediction. Things could change very quickly. The Dodgers could sign Trevor Bauer. The Padres could sign Trevor Bauer. The Mets could sign Trevor Bauer. Who knows? Or the Mets could sign DJ LeMahieu. Who knows? Things can change very quickly, and that's the thing with doing these way too early picks, that things can change very, very quickly. And things could change very quickly. But these are my predictions as of right now. Yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. 68% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a like on this video. Thank you for watching, and peace.